I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. Right now, Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid. In 13 games, he has played 44 minutes. He has scored 4 points. He is shooting 1 of 16 from the field, 0 for 7 from three-point range. How are you doing him favors? We know that he's not ready yet. And I'm saying this with compassion. I'm asking the greatest player in the game, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, an ambassador for this game, the face of the league, a 4-time champion, a guy that's gone to 10 NBA finals, one of the greatest we have ever or will ever see, who is a basketball savant. You know, better than me, better than Doggy, better than J.J. Redick, better than Rob Pelinka, better than any basketball analysis or analyst that exists. You know what these numbers mean. You know what it's going to do to your son, to people who are missing out on opportunities, that are busting their tail on other NBA teams in the G League, in Europe, and everywhere else, what kind of opportunity they're starving for. You're exposing your son like this? I'm just saying, at some point in time, as parents, if you expose your child to some degree, yeah, but then to a larger degree, it gets to a point where you got to step in and be like, I can't do this. Doggy, you'll appreciate this. You remember years ago, Doggy, when the great Larry Holmes, heavyweight champion extraordinaire, one of the greatest jabs in boxing history.
You had to beat
and
Frazier's kid.
And Marvis Frazier. Marvis Frazier went to the ring. And Larry Holmes, Molly, got interviewed before the fight. And he said, ain't no damn kid with 10 fights beating me. And he hurt the kid and had him hurt. And literally, Molly, before he punched, was waving at the referee to come stop the fight. Bow, come stop the fight. Bow, come stop the fight. Am I lying, Doggy? That's exactly what Larry Holmes did. And everybody was looking at Joe Frazier, not Marvis, Joe. And we were like, what you doing? Why would you do that to your son? Do you not know who the hell this is? Well, I would say to LeBron James, do you not know who these NBA players are? Do you not know who your contemporaries are? Do you not know how great the NBA players are, the greatest players in the world? And your son is being exposed. Bronny James, I hope he's an NBA player someday. I'm rooting for him. I'm cheering for him all day, every day. But he's not ready yet. Opening night is one thing. Continuing him in NBA games is another. It shouldn't have been 2 games he played in, let alone 13. Come on. Right. Pop's got to step in and like, yo, I can't expose my son to this just yet. This ain't right. Respectfully, it's not right.
I want to give Bronny some love because we're trying to look for some positives, and he looked great tonight. He really did. He had 17 points on 7 of 10 shooting, so 70% from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. The 5 assists, and by the way, probably could have had 8 or 9 assists if a couple of bunnies would have been hit. He was dropping dimes. 30 minutes. You just got to be happy for him. And James, you said this, I think at halftime maybe, just the comfort level, right? Like you can it's fun to see, and we see it with all young players as they come up through the system. When you get to watch them from start to the beginning of the year where they don't, they look uncomfortable and nervous, to now it's a totally different play.
This is what he's always wanted to do when, we saw him in Cleveland, Miami, shooting hoops before the game with his dad, and after the game, he was 10, 12, he and his brother. And he's lived this life, and he wants to play.
Yeah.
And he can play.
Career highs across the board there.
He has skills, and he's a hard worker. He's got his dad's blood in him, and he's been working really hard. So now I think, the big show is over. He's not under the microscope as much. People were just unfairly giving him a hard time for being drafted 55th. Like, not a big deal. But then he was LeBron's son. So automatically he started getting that friction and hate from people. But now I think he's like, okay, you see him in the G League, I can play, stepping up. I don't care who's playing on the court. He's playing against NBA players. And what I'm seeing is relaxed. He's not thinking anymore. And, it's hard for him. I can see him going to the scoring table and people like, Bronny.
I mean, they're chanting his name everywhere he goes.
It's really tough, but I think he's, let me play.
The fact that he plays under those circumstances tells me a lot about the young man. Honestly, it tells me a lot about him as a player, too. There's a lot of pressure there, right? Everyone chant your name, want you to shoot every time you touch the ball. By the way, his decision-making, I think you have to. It was really impressive.
I'll tell you guys what.
He was the lead guard out there tonight when he was on the floor.
Yeah.
He was the one making the decisions.
And I love you bringing up the 5 assists. He showed us kind of a nice array. He's willing to drive, willing to hit a little teardrop, hit some threes, went to the line a little bit. I'll tell you what, before the Luka trade, so let's rewind 2 months. The number one question I got when I run into friends or just people who want to come up and talk Lakers, wherever, number one question I got was about Bronny. What's he like? What's his career arc going to be? What's his talent level? Now you add Luka Doncic. All those questions are over now. Now it's, can they win it all? So things have been upgraded as far as the big picture for the Lakers. But a lot of people were so curious about Bronny. What's he going to be like? And I've always liked talking to the kid. I think he's a good kid. He had good parenting, no ego at all that I can sense. So I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair when you're just a few picks from the last pick in the draft, and people are like, "Well, how's this going to turn out? Is this what's this all about?" And he's played great. And JJ Redick kind of tipped us off a couple weeks ago, and when he said, Bronny's really improving, and I think we saw that tonight.
Yeah.
I really liked watching him play.
Listen, all I know is what LeBron must be feeling on that bench, just watching the game.
How about
inside?
that? Yep.
It's probably a cool moment
Yeah.
for him, too. All right, let's go back downtown. JJ Redick is speaking with Mike Schill on the media.
JJ, can you just speak to Bronny in the last several weeks or months and kind of the development that gets to the point where, looks pretty comfortable out there, leads the team in scoring and assists, and just the kind of the growth that he's shown?
Yeah. We've obviously monitored him in the G and feel like he's, in those sort of end game situations, when he's gotten a chance to play with us, he's been really good. So not surprised by tonight. And I think his confidence is growing. You mentioned the word comfort. That's certainly there for him. And I think the next step is just becoming like an elite conditioned athlete. Because when he does that with his physical tools and just his burst and his handle, and we think he's going to be an above average to really good NBA shooter. He's gonna have a chance to really make an impact.